roll for if anyone wants to assist her in any way, you can.
Yes. What am I rolling?
All right, Keyanthi, how are you assisting here? Moral support, or
what am I doing? Am I talking to them or tying?
I don't know. What do you want to do? Do you want to just
persuade? Do I have to persuade them to let me help them, or do I just do it while they're not looking and they're just arguing?
You can do either.
Never notice you doing things.
Okay, I'll do that.
You just want to tie while they're arguing?
Yeah.
Okay. Keyanthi, you distract them. And
yes, I'll be standing right in front of Luna, trying to calm them down.
I was like, let's not fight.
It's not working.
I got 18.
Okay, 18. All right. So now all the ropes have been tied down. Okay, Ellie, you summon your friends.
Yep. Crack the staff down and summon 4 owl friends. Alright. Sipo, Silver, Hop. Let's do this.
Okay, so you summon them, you throw out your totems.
Hip and Hop, there we go.
Put out your totems. And then the 4 spectral owls come out, and I mean, they're intelligent enough to know like what you need them to do, so they grasp onto the ropes in their talons, and then you do a couple of test runs to get them to like sort of synchronize together and have the ropes at like relatively the same length. And then and now it's floating up above the ground.
All right, guys.
Okay, let's get on.
All right.
Ciara in the middle.
Ciara she sits down in the center compliantly, but she looks shook about it.
I don't like this. And then like Narja's just like,
this is fly either. Just like she looks at all of you before you get on. I just thought you guys should know I can't fly either. Just a matter of fact thing. Just
neither can we, just so you know.
Hang on while you can. It's all right.
Sounds good. All right, you're confident in the plan. I think I should be confident in the plan.
I think it'll be fine. Right, Pip? What would you, Silver? Yeah, they're good with it. They think it'll work.
Did you summon just 2 or all 4?
I summoned all 4.
Okay, you just only talked to 2. I was just clarifying. Okay, yeah. Narte's super
playing with that.
Narte's super excited. He's just like, this is the best thing ever, and he just jumps on. He's like, I'm so excited for this. You have no idea. And Kenny's just like, yeah, okay, let's try it. Okay.
It like dips and shakes a little bit because he's so excited and jumps on.
And Kenny kind of situates him, and then Arius just looks at this and like. You see him holding back a sigh, and then he's just like...
I'm doing one of those, like, when you're sitting in the car seat and you want someone to sit next to you, you're just...
Sweetums, if I'm here, you should be here too.
I got a seat here right for you.
Then it's like, do you have a better idea?
He's just like, no, I just can't believe I'm going to actually do this. And then he gets on.
Then it gets on then.
A magic owl ride.
Okay, yeah, so...
Alright.
Right through the cavern.
Alright, let's go.
Owls take twice as high.
Okay, so... you guys fly through the cavern. And this is so left field. Okay, so...
All the bats are
shook. We just, like,
all the bats are just like, what is this? And they kind of flap out of the way, and...
I can show you the world.
And you guys fly over, let me see what I like, the things I planned.
So I will say that, my owls don't last that long. They only last for an hour.
Okay.
Well, it'll still be an hour traveling faster than just rafting.
Yeah, if we're just going... Because I assume that we're using it to go over the...
Yeah, you go down the waterfall, no big deal. You guys fly over, like, this big you fly, so you follow the river, and it comes to like kind of this big open cave where there's this carpeted with mushrooms. Carpeted. And from up here, you look down and you see that there are these mushrooms that are moving, and they have arms and legs, and they're like mushroom people that are alive, and like there are small ones and there are big ones, and the small ones are running around and chasing each other, and the big ones just kind of lumber around. There's like this big carcass of a basilisk, and then there are just these big mushroom guys standing on top of it. They're not moving at all. They're just standing on top of it, looking like they're very content to stand on top of this decaying basilisk. And anyone can make an intelligence check if they want to try to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Mary!
Intelligence or nature?
Yeah,
4. No, 7.
7.
I'll make a nature check.
Nature.
I'll just like
13.
I don't trust Keyanthi to do well on anything, so she's gonna wait for everyone else to notice things before her.
Well, that just went on a gurney.
Or you can ask one of the arcane boys if they know what it is, and I'll have them roll. So.
I look towards one of the owls, and
1 second.
Oh, okay.
Go, Ellie, go.
Okay. Yeah, I look towards one of the owls, and I'm like, Siva, do you know who these guys are? And I rolled a 9.
Sibo doesn't know, but he doesn't seem to think they're dangerous.
That's good to know.
Okay, and Luna, you asked Farius if he had any idea what these things were.
Yeah, because he was talking about some people that we needed to talk to in the cave.
Oh, okay. He rolled good. Yeah, he rolled Ludo. Let me look up I actually named these things, so. Okay, so he, kind of looks over the side and he says, probably arthofungi. You see him, think back on it, and he's they usually live in these sort of subterranean colonies. Usually aren't violent. They're not the Durgar that I was talking about. They don't really speak. They just sort of communicate through scent and spores and things like that. And then he points over to the ones that are just standing on top of the carcass, and he says most of the time they're doing that, which is eating, because they're breaking down
Me.
the carcass.
Not a basilisk kind.
Well, you'd have to go down and get it if you wanted it.
That's true. But then we had to get back on this thing, and I think we only have a smite of time.
After hearing that they talk through smells, I point my staff out and I'm like, I want to know how to speak mushroom people, and I do druidcraft and I make a skunk smell. I don't know what that translates to in
You're doing your
fungi,
best.
but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cherry bomb!
But I am very curious what stinky skunk
cute.
smell. Maybe stinky skunk smell means that we're friendly. That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't
Mushroom
know.
dates.
Okay,
We have cheap weed with us.
There you go.
You release this noxious odor into the air, and you kind of have to wait for it to settle on them, and then the mushroom, it hits one of the taller mushrooms, and it kind of ripples, and you see him kind of perk up and like look around, and then he releases these spores, and the other mushrooms around him start like walking around frantically.
No.
So, Ellie,
Can
make a nature check to try to figure out what this message was.
Come on.
Help.
Hey, I got a 17.
Okay, so skunks release this spray when they feel threatened.
Mm-hmm.
The scent that you gave them was probably considered aggressive in some way, but they don't like know where it came from, so they're just really confused.
Make flowers? Maybe make a flower scent.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do flowers. I wave my staff
Most
around.
flowers give off the scent when... Never mind. You know what? Never mind. What do I know of
I
flowers?
do the scent of
Loud.
No idea.
flowers and pollen.
Okay.
I release
Pollen. Pollen means seasonal terms.
I don't know exactly how this would translate, but
More confusion.
Yeah.
it lands on like a group of the the little spore. They're called sporelings. It lands on some of the sporelings,
little baby.
and like they're shorter, and like they kind of kick their little feet in the water, and like
I like these mushroom people.
Me too.
You gave them legs. How dare you?
Mushroom.
they have arms too. They have arms and legs.
Yeah, but you gave them little kicky legs, and they're just kicking the water.
And like the little sporelings seem to like this smell. They're like, "Ooh, what's this smell? It smells nice," and like they seem like happy and with each other. Like they don't know where it's coming from because it's coming from above, and like this unfamiliar scent. So they have like nothing to connect it to.
They seem awful cute. Like Kiara looks enamored to them like, aww.
Yeah, there's one that's
they are
like a
pretty
little
cute.
chubbier than the others, and it kind of waves its arms around and hops, and you're just like, oh, it's so cute. Yeah, so that's
I want to keep one, but taking it away from its parents would make it sad.
Can we like just live here? Forget it. Forget everything. Live here.
We're just gonna settle in Sporgar. Oh boy. So unless you guys want to like sit and watch them for a little bit longer, you guys
Watch them
probably
for
take
an
the hour,
entire
little
hour.
We should probably keep going.
They're an absolute joy though, and Kiara's just like,
Okay, so you guys spend like 15 minutes sending scents to these like little mushroom kids,
Us.
and then the Keyanthi and Paris are just like, we should probably go. It's like, I think that's enough.
So we need to shout peppermint to them.
Okay, one more.
We need to figure out what happened to the goddess. That's why we're going down here at all.
All right, yeah, we've got responsibilities to do. You're right. All right,
Kenny and Narte are also into this. They're like, you do another, and then they're like,
all right.
Just one more, just the peppermint.
peppermint.
Kiara's just like,
One more.
"Yeah,
All right,
you."
and like, I talk to my spirit friends, and I'm like, all right, guys, we should keep going. And then like as we're flying over them, I just like wave my staff, and just red dust comes out, and peppermint.
Peppermint. Yeah, so the little kids are they've been excited getting all these new smells, and the like adults, the adults started coming over too, because the sporelings released other spores out of like joy, you guess, because they look happy, and then like you see the like older ones kind of show up, and like you know how in like Fantasia the mushrooms kind of like shudder, and so like they sort of, you see them expand and then like exhale, so you can get the sense of it actually kind of inhaling the like the scent, and like they seem to be like, oh, this is nice. Like, we have no idea what this means, but this is nice, and the kids are happy. So
We need to protect these mushroom people at all costs.
All right, who is in favor of forgetting the entire mission and just becoming the envoys of protection for these people? All in favor, say aye.
I put my hand up and then I immediately put it down. It's like, no, wait. I mean, no, we got responsibilities that we have to do.
Me and the envoys.
Okay.
We're here for it.
So you guys.
Keyanthi, responsible mom.
Oh, Mom!
She knows she has no power, so she's just gonna sit and wait for something else new to happen.
All right, so you guys move on down the river and then slowly descend back onto the water, and now we're back on the water, floating down.
There we are. Ciara, how are you faring? I know you're not free with water.
During harvest season, they just have the biggest, grandest party. She's still stuck on them. And then she's like,
You're doing well.
oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I just don't know how to swim. The flight went much, much smoother. Thank you for asking, though.
Of course. We'll have to try that again if we can. I don't know if we have to retie owls to the raft.
I mean, no, you just have to, like, Ellie would just have to resummon them.
Reinflate.
Yeah, okay, so, like 45 minutes? Let me just think about, like, what I want to do exactly.
Oh, we can go longer.
Like 9:15, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
But
okay,
really quick,
okay.
I sent a picture. And I sent a doodle.
Oh, did you do doodles?
I did do a doodle. I did a very short doodle. It's in general.
Oh,
Ah, so cute.
it's so cute.
Ah, so precious.
Like,
God. They got little nubby feet.
yeah, that's what I... As soon as you said little mushroom kids with feet, and I'm like, that's what...
This is too cute. Okay, so you
They
guys.
remind me of this. Oh, there's this like one last tangent. I promise I will never come back to this again. Final Fantasy 14. You get these tiny little minions, and there's this teeny fat one. It's just a mushroom. It just goes and it's running after you all the time. And I'm like, I love you, Chubby. You're my favorite.
That's too cute. I didn't expect you guys to love them this much. All right. Okay.
We're coming back here in harvest season to celebrate.
It's like late spring now. Okay, so
Well, next year.
next year.
Just be damned.
All right, so you guys float down the river without really any problems. And you guys, nothing happens. Just peaceful. It's a little unnerving because you're used to like things trying to hurt you or be adorable and distract you, but nothing happens. And you guys start to get hungry and you guys start to get tired. And you all can relatively assume it's been a number of hours. And you guys pull off to the side and set up camp. Okay, so I wrote some scenes that you can unlock with the Arcane Moon boys.
Alright.
So,
Wait, what's my affection level? Like all of them.
so
Not to gamble them all away.
I wanted to do this at separate nights, but it's fine. We'll just Okay, so
As long as you haven't played Monopoly, that's all above a -77.
I mean, we got a whole campaign. I mean, we can get as friendly as we want to with our arcane friends.
there's a scene with Norte. There's a scene with Farias and McKenna. Do you remember what I told you to ask him?
Yes.
Okay, so that scene's taken.
I wrote it down.
Oh.
Unless, I mean,
Okay.
I can always improv. If you guys want to talk to them, that's fine. I just made specific scenes to add plot
I
depth.
say we talk to Farius. I want to talk to Farius.
Okay. So, you guys are settling down. And, Narte is, he's off getting fish. And, you guys see him, like, he's doing the, like, bare hands catch method. So he has his little, like, hand legs, there we go, rolled up, and he's trying to catch them with his bare hands. And he doesn't have a problem holding still. He's just, it looks like he's zoning out and, like, isn't able to catch them. So, like, it kind of looks like something actually bothering him a little bit. And then you see Farius start to just take out his alchemy kit and, like, very, like, meticulously, like, pull everything out and, like, set it up. He, like, spent a long time, like, looking at rocks to find, like, a flat one, and now he's, like, setting up shop. And, Kenny is setting up the campfire. What do you guys do?
I mean, if you guys don't mind, I don't mind talking to Farius. Unless there's a scene you
I
guys
thought
want
you would have wanted to talk to Kenny over there, but
No.
I mean,
Then it's gonna be probably sitting by Farius.
Okay. Everyone wants to hang out with him.
What?
I'm just surprised everyone wants to hang out with him now.
He's a challenge.
God, hard to get, huh?
Well,
But like, I guess like his like a vague element of his aura is a bit familiar to her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can see that.
Narte is the one that turns into the peacock, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, can't have to talk to Narte then.
Okay, we'll do that first. So,
Which one was the friend with Cryos?
Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah,
Oh, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenaris, Kenny. Same person. Alright. So we'll do Keyanthi and Narte first. So he's just like focusing on the water, and like this fish literally goes like right through his hands. And he's like, oh, dang. Like he utters something under his breath. It's probably a curse, and then he goes back to trying to catch fish. Doesn't notice that you're there.
Okay, well, can I just go ahead and speak to him then?
Yeah.
Darling. Have you ever fished with your bare hands before? It sounds, she's about to say disgusting, but instead she says tricky.
And he just kind of goes, what? Oh, yeah, I have. Usually I'm a little better at it. Kenny's actually the best one at it. But I don't know, something's just been bothering me, because I've been, well, actually a number of things have been bothering me, but, you know Ryu? We left him in Toril, and I just have been, I don't know, I've just been worried about him, because, I don't know, we're both gay, and we're both in societies that want us to not be, even though it's kind of okay, and I don't know, we kind of bonded over that, and I guess I'm just worried about him. I'm just worried that he agreed to be in this position, and that I'm afraid it ultimately, like, won't make him happy, but at the same time, like, it's his choice, and, I mean, like, maybe being sexually attracted to his partner is, like, not a super big deal to him, because that can happen. Like, maybe his sexuality is more flexible, maybe he can change, and he's just like, he kind of like rambles on about like this subject, and he's like, I'm just worried about him, and I don't really think I can do anything, so all I can do is just worry about him, and like and he confides in you that he still feels bad about Arlana being gone, and how he feels like it's his fault, and that he bears responsibility for that. And then he says, then, and the last thing that doesn't make sense to me is that I still don't really get how the War Matron found us. Because you guys did a good job covering our tracks, and, like, we should have had more time. Even with, like, bribery doesn't keep them quiet, it just buys us time, which was all we needed. And he hesitates and says, I think someone ratted us out. But I don't want to think it's Ryu, because that kid is a gold, and I don't think it's Deirdre. Like, she, I mean, like, to be honest, Farius kind of has a really good way with older women, and so I think he had her wrapped around his thumb. So I don't think it was her, and I hate to say it, I think it might have been Fiona.
Okay. That's a lot of information for one Keyanthi, so she's like, okay.
He's like, you're a good listener. That was really cathartic.
Well, I want to talk with him, actually. But quick reminder, who is Fiona? Is that the one that Rioric married?
Nope, that was Nessa. Fiona is...
We stayed in her house.
Fiona is Rioric's cousin.
Yeah, Deirdre's house. Is Deirdre... Who?
Is Deirdre the mom?
Yeah.
Fiona's the cousin.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My
Deirdre's
mistake.
cousin. Who also lives in the... I thought we were just at Deirdre's house the whole time.
You are.
It doesn't matter.
You are.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Yeah. So you're at Deirdre's house. Deirdre is Rioric's mother and Fiona's aunt.
Fiona's sister Rioric. Okay, fine. Thank you, Keyanthi Tree. Okay, anyway, Keyanthi takes a deep breath and says, wow, Marte, that is quite a lot. And to be honest, I came over here because I thought there may be something on your mind, but he just, puts a little hand under his shoulders. I feel like it was a good idea for me to talk to you. Well, I understand why you're worried about Rioric. Is it just that you don't agree with what he's done?
I mean, I just hope that it is what he actually wants in the end. Because I get, like, his logical reasoning behind it, like, this allows him to be with his family, which he's lost. And I hope that is enough for him, and, I mean, like, we also know that Nessa's not gonna ask for him to,
do more than what he's comfortable with.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And, as someone who was put in the same position and ran away from it, I just relate to it, and it's interesting to see someone else handle it differently, but, he was also handed a different set of cards, so I just...
Exactly.
I can empathize with him, and I just worry about him.
I totally understand. Well, it's as you said, he made a decision based on what he needed there, so it feels fortuitous for him. He seemed so relieved, and he's with his family again. For being with family, it's important for someone. It shows that they can be somewhere they belong, so you don't have to keep, he gestures to the group, keep running away from something that doesn't, work for them, but he found something good, and so I don't think you should be too worried for him. He's able to take care of himself, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it was his choice in the end, so I just hope it
I have been worried about Atlana too. She told us to not worry, but also, demons, right?
She married one, so she kind of has a way with them. I think she'll be okay because she's resourceful, but I don't think she'll be okay forever. And I think her family should know. So I want to spearhead that action into going and, bringing that.
Well, I suppose the action that we need to take would have to happen outside of these tunnels, so...
Yeah.
Just know that you're not alone with all this worrying. Worrying is one of the things I'm good at, besides, well, I suppose it's what...
That was really awesome, by the way. That was so cool. That was amazing.
Right.
You just, backflipped off a wall? That was crazy.
She's blushing a little bit while it helps to be helpful when I can. Sometimes it's hard to know when that would be, but I hope you find some fish. Can you teach me how to lift my hands to fish?
Oh, you want to catch a fish?
I suppose it would be useful to learn.
Yeah, I can teach you how to do it this way. It's actually easier with a spear, but we just don't have one on hand.
What if I punched it like this?
Well, oh, hey, can't you do like that pew pew thing with your fists?
Yeah, I can certainly do that.
Yeah, do you wanna is that like, what is that? Is that...
Well, it's, okay, so Keyanthi goes in and just kind of explains what it is. It's just like, willpower and the force of the shiny light. I don't know, I think maybe if I used it, it would scare more fish away than bring fish to us.
But it would also be really cool.
That is
I think we should do it at least once, and then see what happens, because also that sounds great.
Yeah, the fish might come in and be like, what happened? This is cool. And then die also.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, let's try to like scare one away into like, away from the school, and then you can shoot it.
Okay, let's try it.
Okay. So he'll it takes him. Wow, it takes you guys a little... Yeah, okay, finally. It takes you guys, like, a couple minutes just to, like, scare it into, like, this, like, little tiny lagoon of water. And then he's like, all right, shoot the fish. Shoot the fish.
Yeah, and so she goes ahead and she...
Make an attack roll on the fish.
Fish gently. Do I roll to hit?
Yeah, roll to hit. And roll to hit the fish.
Okay, alright. I think that worked. Yeah, I got like a 19. I think I hit it.
Yes, you just step back and release your fist in this quick jab, and pew, this little bolt of just this very precise strike pew, zaps the fish, and then and then floats up to the top, and he's like, ooh, it's like a laser. He picks it up, and he's just like,
I have better control than I thought I did.
hey, we got one, and he goes and just like puts it on the shore. That was pretty cool.
I suppose we should keep trying and see what more we can take.
Yeah, and so you guys catch a few more fish through various methods, and he's kind of says, I kind of bared my soul to you. Do you have anything you want to confide?
Well, I know that I have plenty of worries that I left behind too, and worries for the road ahead. I know that I can do things others can't, but it feels like others can do so much more than I.
I can get where you're coming from. Like, I have a brother named Atlan, and he kind of like looks up, and he's so smart. Like, this kid's just, he's so smart. You don't even know. Like, he was impressive at 5, and I'm the older brother, and he quickly outshined me, which is fine, but part of the reason I felt comfortable kind of bailing and going into the military was because I knew Atlan would actually be a better heir than I was. Because, man, I'm just... He's like, not too great at the books, not too great at the baby making, not too great at a lot of things. If you want me to whack stuff with a sword or to chat something up, I gotcha.
Or catch a fish, maybe.
Or catch a fish.
Catch a fish.
Well,
I have siblings too, and they're all much older than I am. I suppose I'm truly the baby of the family. And they already have lives, and I don't know where I'm even going. So.
I think it's okay.
It's hard to talk about.
Well, I feel like that's everyone's journey, just figuring out.
I still have to find my journey. I hope I find it along the way, but I'll keep at it.
Well, just know that, you're appreciated here. And I know it seems like your efforts are small, but you don't need to move a mountain to make a difference.
Keyanthi just kind of like nods and smiles, but she doesn't really believe it. So she just keeps the conversation going.
Yeah, he can read between the lines, and he's just like, well, let's just catch more fish, you know?
Let's try it.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the scene?
Yeah.
All right.
D'Artagnan, Kathy, Fisher's Market. Let's go. Good catch.
Okay. Well, I'll roll to see who wants to have a scene. Okay, so Ellie wants to talk to Farius, Luna wants to talk to Farius, and then Ciara wants to talk to Kenny. Okay.
We could do Ciara.
Okay, let's just do Ciara. So Kenny's just, he's very practical. You know, he's good at building the fire. You can tell that he's used to doing this, and he's, like, kind of getting, like, he's just getting, like, the dinner stuff ready. And then, like, he goes and, like, checks the equipment, and you know, you can tell that, like, through his actions, he's, like responsible and practical, I guess. Because he bases himself in ways that are, like, to maintain things. So you...
Very routine.
Yeah. And right now he's just kind of watching the fire and making sure it has enough kindling, and he's like, you can tell he's, like, a little upset because it's hard to find kindling in a cave where there's no wood. So he's just like,
This is usually easier anywhere else but here.
It's a lot easier here. And so, like, he's been trying to, like, light it with, like, mushrooms, and he's like, I really hope this isn't poisonous. He looks up and sees you, and he's like, oh, hey.
Anything I can do to help?
Can you light this mushroom on fire?
She does a little flourish and, like, casts this fairy fire on it. Magic?
Do you have, like, a fire magic? Like, fire?
Well, I have burning hands.
Oh, yeah, that might be a little much.
What does fairy fire do? I don't...
Things visible or something. Gives you advantage on attacking things.
I thought that was dancing lights.
Do you want... Dancing lights is a cantrip that makes things light up.
Yeah, and fairy fire is my other cantrip that I can just do.
Fairy fire is not a cantrip.
Cast darkness on it just to make it harder. No kidding, I'm kidding.
Fairy fire is your racial as a drow.
Oh, yeah.
So-
And they got burning hands, but I think that's different.
He's just like, that's a bit much, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna... I don't know, you can look for wood?
Do you think roots would burn easier than that?
That's a good idea.
Find some dried up roots
All
somewhere.
right,
There's
let's
plenty of them somewhere in the kingdom.
Yeah, let's
sure.
go look for
Everything
roots.
dies. Yeah. And I'm gonna make a check to see if I can find anything.
Oh, he did pretty good. He got... Oh yeah, his perception... Oh yeah. Yeah, he got like a 22.
Ah, sweet.
Yeah, so, like, you guys go and find some, like, soft dirt at, like, the base of this stalagmite. And he, like, shifts through it, and he's just like, yeah, right here. And it's like, there's, actually, no, it'd be, you'll go... Never mind, yeah. You find... I don't know, somehow you find roots. I'm overthinking
Let's
this.
find something dying somewhere. Just
You know,
like,
you find some roots, and he's like, huh. And you find kind of like almost like a potato. It's like a tuber of type of some kind. They're wild. And he's like, I mean, this might burn. It's a lot better than the reeds. And he points over to the river because they're wet. And it's like, and it's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No.
And he's... So she kind of looks at him, and from... She's like trying to recall like the previous conversations that they've had like with the rest of the group, and she's like, so you've been topside at all, or?
Yeah. The three of us, the guys, were from the Arcane Empire, which you're somewhat familiar with because you know Cryos. And Wow. Okay, it's kind of a long story, but basically the three of us were sent to investigate some pirating that's happening out at sea, and then our ship was attacked by slavers, and we were taken onto a submarine, and we met the group of girls there, and then we got separated because they teleported out, and we took the submarine, and then we took the submarine to like the underground caves and emerged from the water, and then we were wandering around underground, and we had like our friend Mara with us, and then she took us to Toro, but we're like, we're like basically war criminals because Arcane Elves aren't supposed to be in Drow territory. That's against the Armistice or whatever we have going on. So we're basically fugitives in Toro, and then I got kidnapped, and then I was unkidnapped, and finally, long story short, we managed to escape Toro. One of our friends died, and now we're trying to get back to the Empire. Yeah.
So you've been a lot of places, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that there because some of the stuff that the concepts that he's introducing are like sounds like a fantastical story she might have read in a library, but the concept of visualizing it is it's always in a cave in her head. So she's just like,
it's like, yeah. I mean, you mean like before all this? Because I've gone all across the Empire here and there. It just depends on where you're dispatched. And like I mostly grew up in mountains where there's lots of snow. And he's like, that's why I turned into a white dog. And that's where I met Cryos. He's also from the Crystal Kingdom. We were in the capital together with Hazen or Aenith. And we trained together. He was one of my best buds growing up, really. And then, like, we didn't really have a falling out or anything. He just got dispatched to other places, so I didn't see him as often. And then I got placed in this specific group of guys, because we were placed according to, like, our skills. So, like, our cell consists of, like, we're, like, Narte and I are supposed to assist Farius, who is really like the intellect guy, and so we just protect him and like back him up a lot. So that's really how we're supposed to work. Yeah. So so we've kind of been all over. Just mostly we've been dispatched to like the sea. So we've been on a lot of ships. And we've been to, like, the Rishi Isles, which is really bright. And I think you can relate to that, being bright, because we also don't like sunlight, so we spend a lot of time in our animal forms. Which is difficult, because people don't talk to animals, at least not outside of the Empire. So, we had to do a lot of our recon as animals or at night. So that was interesting.
sounds like just here, but taking a break every so often.
Kinda, yeah. Like, I mean, a lot of Arcane Elves actually live underground because we're also light sensitive, and that's why there's a lot of, debate over, like, the land, because it's living space.
There's a limited amount of space.
There's a limited amount of livable underground space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
unless you want to be fighting what else is down here.
Yeah. So, most Arcane Elves either live in, they live underground or they live topside with no windows. But most of them have, like, some sort of, like, like, servant or, like, friend at least, that's why we have, like, non-Arcane Elves, because just to, like, function as a society, because you can't farm at night very well. So, yeah. That's why we have an influx of non-Arcane Elves. But, anyway, sorry, did you want to ask something?
What's it like?
Topside?
Yeah, like, you're here scrounging for roots and dried reeds.
Okay. And he sits and like thinks for a minute, and he's like, the air is different. Here it stays still most of the time. Underground it's more stagnant. But like above ground the air moves and it's fresher and you can smell things and there's wind, and like down here there isn't wind. And like
you get a little breeze off the water, don't you?
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Sometimes, I mean, if you're close to like the entrance of the outside, or if you're in sea caves you can get a breeze from the outside, but it's hard to get a long wind. Or you could also get drafts from like lava chutes, or if you're by a volcano you can get updrafts of like hot air. But
up there it's everywhere.
Yeah, up there like there's wind all the time. Well, not all the time, but it's a lot more, and like there's a lot more color. Like here it's a lot of gray, and it's he says he points over at he's like Ellie, like they're just imagine like this entire area just carpeted in green, and those are fields, and there's this. He's like, have you seen the day star? Have you seen the sun? So it's like this. He's like, wow, topside's gonna be crazy for you. Like, there's this giant, like, light in the sky, and don't look at it directly; it'll hurt. But it, at daytime, it lights up everything, and you can see, as forever, as long as anything's not blocking you, you can see. And then, like, if there are he points to a stalactite, and he's like, there are trees, and they're like stalactites, but they have leaves on them, and they branch out, and they can cast shadows, and they have
like I've seen depictions of it in some books and scrolls, but is it really on fire? Just hanging fire in the air?
I mean, it's like it's really far away, but yeah.
Right, like that. Points to the flame that's like, try.
Try like 10,000 times stronger?
It's a big bonfire.
Yeah, it's a big bonfire in the sky. And he looks up and he's like, that sounds really insane. And then,
It sounds insane as you explain it to me, I'm not gonna lie.
He's like, that sounds insane. And
you could be actually telling me you could be telling me a tall tale all you like, and I could have just believed everything, just...
He's like, well, I'm not lying. He's like, I'm not lying. and that's not all. There are these like floating rocks in the sky. They're called moons, and there are 3 of them. And they go
are they
across.
On fire too?
Yeah, they're really far away too, and they go across the sky. And like depending on what time of the year it is, you can see the like parts of them being covered in shadow, and then parts of them, being revealed by the light, and like he like pulls out this. He's like, hang on, maybe pictures will be better. And he pulls out like this. He has like a little notepad, and like he flips through it. And he has like some like kind of like little drawings in it, and he draws out like this. This is a moon, and like it's pretty decent. Like it's he has like little craters on it, and he says, so this is what it kind of looks like when it's full, but it's like glowing, like inherently
bright, glowing, lumpy ball.
Yeah, kind of like the bioless, like the mushrooms that glow, like it's kind of like that, but in the sky.
Ah.
Yeah, and then
that's a big. It's like that's big.
And then there's a whole other planet. That's the sister planet. So, DM to Ciara-Sirena, this planet has a celestial twin.
Sweet.
So there's planet rise, there's sunrise, there's moonrise, and so typically there are 2 moons, but sometimes there's a third one, and that's dependent on. And what happens is the twin planet will come close to it, and its gravitational force will pull one of the moons away. So this third moon will go away for like a couple years and then come back.
Hi, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you for watching Dungeon Damsels. This is not the end of the session, so please stay tuned for the next part. We update on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in supporting us more, please push the subscribe button, like, or comment. We also have a Patreon, wink wink nudge nudge, and our show is in podcast form. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, and plenty of other podcast platforms. Thanks, we hope to hear from you soon.